The 915th edition of the MMA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog. Underdog's got a brand new offer for new customers. Play just $5 and get $50 in bonus funds when you sign up with promo code MMA SGPN.
Heidi ho, degenerinos. Welcome to episode 915 of the MMA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. This is dedicated to Steve Jones, who made a couple comments clowning us on YouTube, and there's a whole bunch of grammatical errors in it. So it goes out to you, Steve Jones. You should know what you're and there, and it's classic mistakes. Anyhow, I am Mr. Pimp, Jeff Fox.
You changed it. I didn't even see it.
I changed it I changed it mid-episode. You didn't notice it. That's Daniel Gumby Vreeland. Yes. You have to listen to the last episode if you want to know where I got my nickname from. It's kind of a hybrid nickname. We are here for Contender Series. Last week went very well for Contender Series. A lot of you people tuned in, which is good. Yeah, it's good. Actually, it's good. A record number of people tuned in last week because Gumby did good. You made money, right?
Yeah, we were up. If you put $100 on every single pick, or one unit, or whatever measurement you want to look at, we were up a little over 2 units on the fight card. So I think it was like 2.3 on the fight card. So hopefully you tailed a couple of those plays and stayed away from the ones maybe that didn't go so well.
Which means you're still in the plus 30s on non-UFC.
Yeah, up to 36 and a half. I double checked right before we went
in the
to
40s.
Yeah. Well,
and what's the record for a full year?
Last calendar year. Yeah, last calendar year was 44 and a half.
Oh, you're going to crush that.
So we're close. I'll tell you what, if that 750 we dropped on yesterday's episode should happen to hit, that will make up most of that ground right here. And I think, obviously, we don't have odds for Dana White Contender Series at the time of recording right now. I think I got a couple of underdogs on here, including maybe one big one that I think is money.
Nice. Putting a bow on last week's episode, anyone impress you particularly on that show?
On Contender Series last week, I really liked Etcher Sosa. I know Ivo Baranowski is going to be the one that everybody's like, we saw 20 seconds in one punch from him.
He was losing for most of it.
For most of the 20 seconds he was
fighting. He got kicked.
And I know Cody Kovanchik wound up with a contract, and I was like, I don't know, he looked all right, but he fought somebody who came in with some pretty low fight IQ in there, and he did pick up the knockout at the end. So props to him for getting it. So I'm not quite sold on him yet. I'm not quite, I'm gonna have to see more of Evo, but I was really hyped on Etcher Sosa. I said he was gonna come in, close the distance on the much taller guy, work the body, but he also showed off some really great wrestling. And remember, this is all days after his dad died, which is an insane storyline there for him. But he looked great in that fight. So I would say my favorite off of that show was Etcher Sosa.
Excellent. And you came through as a dog, which is the most important thing. This week, anyone you're excited about this week as a prospect?
There's one I didn't know I was excited about until I actually found some film on, and it's maybe the sneaky underdog that we're going to talk about at some point in time. So I won't tip that hand. There's some people I'm less excited about.
It's on paper, it's not the greatest week.
I mean, the first fight has already had 3 different opponents. And the latest guy who's filling in is 2-4.
And he's the only American on the card too.
Or 2-2 in his last 4 is what I meant there.
Right?
Is he Justice Torres? Yeah, Justice
the
Torres.
Only American. It's all international. Yep.
Yeah, crazy. That's weird.
Yeah. So he's your last hope for your country, apparently. So, all right, well, let's dive into it in a sec, and we'll see who Gumby's most excited about. Before we do all that, I should remind you, we have an app. The SGPN app is in the App Store for easy access to all our free picks and props. So check it out, SGPN, in your App Store. All right, Contender Series Week 7 coming down this coming Tuesday, 8 p.m. as per usual. UFC Apex, 5 fights, all the usual stuff. We're kicking things off with a one men's featherweight fight with the Colombian Javier Reyes Everyone's scared to fight him. He's fighting Justice Torres, who's just stepping in like a couple of days from this recording, I think. There's been a ton of opponents.
At the most a week prior to fight time.
Yep. He, like I said, he's the only American on the card. Let's break her down. I'll tell you about Torres first. Once my spreadsheet opens, here it is. He's 12-3, 5 knockouts, 1 submission. He's never been finished. He's a durable guy. Taking this fight on short notice, as mentioned. He's won 2 straight in 5:06. Past 2 wins, both TKO. He has fought extensively in Fury, which is the promotion that we semi-regularly cover, and he was the former champion in Fury FC. 4 years younger than Reyes, an inch taller. Reyes is Blair. Remember, we talked about him before with his Blair nickname. 21-5, 9 knockouts, 8 submissions. Knocked out twice, submitted once. 3-1 over his last 4. He won his last bout via submission. He went 2-2 in LFA. Multiple regional championships on his
mantle.
Correct. Get our shirt, get our merch, all the good stuff at sportsgamblingpockets.com/store. Try football at checkout for a discount. Use fight at 155. 2014 Pro MMA debut for Reyes. 4 inches of reach over Torres.
Yeah, and I'm going to be honest, and I'm not trying to hate on either of these guys here. I'm not really hyped on either of these two coming into this fight. And I know Reyes is now on his 3rd opponent or whatnot. So, they wanted to make sure he got in there. I'm guessing like -185 on Reyes. And knowing he was going to be a favorite, and this is, again, no shade on him, I was like looking for a reason to want to pick Justice Torres. And I just couldn't find one. Javier Reyes has been beat. I think you said 3-1 in his last 4, but I think that's incorrect. I think it's 2-2 in his last 4 because I remember him losing. Okay. He lost to Chris McKay, correct? And then I want to say he lost. Let me see. You want to say he lost to Larian Douglas too, as well.
No, 3-1. I'm always right. Cody Freeman and Shane Torres. He's TKO'd. He lost to Cameron Graves. He beat Wilson Nadrejoni for the belt.
So. That's Justice Torres, right?
Yes, Justice Torres.
I meant Javier Reyes. I think Javier Reyes.
Okay.
I think he's 2-2 in his last 4, if I'm not mistaken. And it's McKay and Larian Douglas who beat him. And granted, the Larian Douglas loss in retrospect, and he slept the hell out of Javier Reyes, is like not a bad one. And then Chris McKay went on to be the champ and lose the belt afterwards. But another tough loss. But just the thing I noticed about Javier Reyes is like clearly he wants to wrestle, and I just don't trust his wrestling enough for him to like regularly beat guys with it. He kind of had a good enough time against Cody Gibson. That was, I think, 5 fights ago. That was right before the Larian Douglas fight. He kind of had a good enough time wrestling him. But like, if you watch any of the 4 fights after that, like wrestling is really spotty. On the other side, though, like Justice Torres seems like he's on his back in almost every fight. I went back and I watched new fights and old fights. And, I had to go back and watch the one because I saw he had a loss to Pena Alamov, who is a guy who I constantly am saying is like overhyped and not actually all that good. And he lost to Pena Alamov pretty much by wrestling. And so like Justice Torres like has trouble with his wrestling. And a lot of his recent wins are he lets you wrestle him for a little while, tires you out. And then, he pours it on with volume and can kind of, wear you down and TKO you. And the problem is I just don't see that being enough of a path to victory against Javier Reyes. Reyes is like sharp on top. I think his cardio is good enough. So like, yeah, I think Torres' path to victory is to make this ugly and to tire out Reyes. And I just don't think he'll do that well enough. So give me Javier Reyes in this one.
And for the record, I am correct. He was 3-1. So just so you know, 3-2 over his last fight, but yes.
That's 3. So it was 5 fights ago he lost to Larian Douglas?
Yeah.
Okay.
Correct. Yep.
Okay.
But hey, we're both right in our own ways, right? You remember the losses. You Mr. Negative remembers the losses. All right. So he went with Reyes, who probably will be a favorite. Probably a fairly big favorite here. All right.
I don't know if he'll be a fairly big.
You don't think so?
I think the recent losses like taint that a little bit. I think south of 200. I will say that.
And the fact he's had 26 fights and he's just getting his first crack at Contender Series is kind of a warning signal as well. So, all right, we got Lithuania versus Croatia, I believe. Yes, Croatia next on the fight card. All international fight card almost. 185, that would be middleweight. We'll tell you about the Croatian first. He's got a fun name to say. It is Mantas Kondratavičius. Đani Barbir is the Croatian. So Kondratavičius. There's got too many extra letters in there. Kondratavičius. We'll call him the Rat. He's 7-1, 5 knockouts, 2 submissions. He's been submitted once. He owes his rounds. Yanni thinks is going to the decision. He's won 2 straight, both via finish. He's not lost since June 2023. He went 1-0 in Cage Warriors. Used to fight at 170, 2-0-2 as a pro kickboxer, 3 years younger than Barbir. It's probably not Barbir, right? It's Barbir or something. Barbir.
Barbir, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. He is 7-0 with 1 no contest, 4 knockouts, 3 submissions. He his rounds as well. Yanni's totally saying this one is going the distance for sure. Barbir's won 6 straight fights. He's a regional champ. He's an inch tall in the Rat. That's right. I said I'm going to call him the Rat. All right, that's all I got. Very small resume for that man.
I feel like you're going to start a fight with that. I think Barbir is going to be
the Rat.
Yeah, I don't think that's a nice thing that people call people.
Oh, that's right. I say it with love. I say it because I don't want to butcher your name anymore, sir. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so I'm going to go with Barbir here. I think he's going to be like a -200 favorite. A little bit bigger probably than Javier Reyes. It's because he's got the better record. And also, if you've seen his wins, dude, they're vicious. Barbir is like a very explosive boxer, kickboxer. You know, he throws some kicks in there, but it's mostly boxing. And then the most important part of it is that, like, when he goes to finish, he does try to land the ground and pound to get the finish, but he's also not afraid to use his submissions. You know, I was watching one of his recent fights. He was fighting a damn bowling ball. The guy was like 6 inches shorter than him, but also was like, he threw a head kick and it went like right over the guy's head, but the guy didn't duck. And I was like, I didn't quite measure that one right. But then he threw a kick right up the middle and hit the dude right on the jaw. It was very like Michael Chandler-esque on Tony Ferguson. And he stunned him, and then he went in for some crazy ground and pound and landed what should have been enough to stop the fight, but the referee just like wanted blood that day or whatever. And so then he just switched to an arm triangle and sunk in a really nice arm triangle. And if you look at his record, you can see he's done that more than once, where he's like a tag and bag kind of guy. Where he's picked up a couple of submissions despite being a guy who's mostly proficient on the feet. The big reason I like him over Kondratavičius is that his head movement's pretty good. It can get a touch sloppy when he gets into firefights and he wants to like really throw down, but like largely he's really comfortable just like throwing wild and then like moving his head to get himself out of the way. Kondratavičius is again a kickboxer. Like you're definitely going to see a kickboxing match here with like elements of grappling, but like kickboxing to start. He's tall, he's upright. He does throw pretty well. Like he fought Virgil Ogden in Aries, who then later went on to become the Aries champion. He lost that fight. That is his only loss, but he did pop Ogden once or twice where it looked like, oh, look, he's getting the better of him. I do think Barbir moves his head just a little bit better than Ogden and is going to be like more threatening. Ogden has the tendency to like kind of just like sit back and wait for things to happen. So I think Barbir's pressure will probably make that harder for Kondratavičius. And then the other last thing that I like in this fight is I do think while Kondratavičius has had like his moments on the ground in top control, I think Barbir is the much better grappler here. I think if he chooses to take this to the ground because he doesn't like what he sees on the feet, he's going to be able to do what he needs to do. So I'm going to take Darty Barbir here. My guess is a pretty sizable favorite.
Okie dokie. Another winner. We'll get you some more in a second. First, let me tell you about mybookie.ag. We are brought to you by them, obviously. MyBookie is your place to bet in football and everything else. Their profitability is second to none. Their motto is bet on anything, anywhere, anytime. Easy deposit and lightning fast payouts using crypto. They will have Dana White Contender Series lines up there, so go over and check it out. And when you do head to mybookie.ag, make sure you sign up with our promo code MMA SGPN. That way you get 100% bet back bonus up to $500 for new customers. So that's mybookie.ag, promo code MMA SGPN. And we're brought to you by Novig. That's Novig, all one word. Novig is America's #1 sports prediction market. Since Novig is an exchange, you know you're getting some of the best prices in the market. Novig is available in 35 plus states. Download the Novig app and get $50 when you spend $5 if you use our promo code SGPN. Get in on the action with Novig, promo code SGPN. Moving on up the card, 145 next. That would be featherweight. We have a Mexican, Brahyan Zurcher.
I think it's just Brahyan.
Isn't it Brahyan? But it's got a bunch of extra letters. Brahyan. Yes, a typo, I will say. His nickname can be typo. Murtazali Magomedov. I know how to say the last name. He's from Kyrgyzstan. As I said, they're fighting 145. Magomedov is the highlight. 9-0, 4 knockouts, 5 submissions. He owes his rounds. Multiple regional championships on his
mantle.
Correct. Get our shirt, get our merch, sportsgamblingpockets.com/store. 3 years younger than Zurcher, an inch of reach advantage over him. Zurcher is 9-0, 4 knockouts, 3 submissions. He's won 5 straight fights via finish. He went 5-0 in PFL. He's missed weight before at 145. He's an inch taller than Magomedov.
Yeah, so I'm going to go, I think Magomedov probably the favorite here, probably even a little bit bigger than each of the last two, Barbir and Reyes. I'm going to say like negative 225. I know Zurcher's undefeated. I feel like just the name Magomedov and the fact that he has been fighting at a fairly high level probably still keep him the favorite here, and by a pretty wide margin. And I'm going to go with Magomedov. I don't like his striking defense. I want to start by saying that. I watched back he fought for Octagon in his last fight, but not with the K, with the C. So that's is it Kazakh? That's the Kazakh one. But he's the featherweight champion over there. And in his last title defense, he got dropped with a shot because he does this thing where he like comes in and throws when he needs to. And then he leans away and pulls his arms back. Like he's begging you to hit him in the chin. And he thinks just leaning is going to work. And it didn't that time, and it popped him. But on the same token, he fell, immediately grabbed the guy's legs, recovered himself, and then started using his wrestling. And I think that's the problem here I have with Zurcher, is that like Zurcher is wild and likes to throw on the feet and likes to get after it. And, maybe it wouldn't even surprise me necessarily if he found a way to get to Magomedov's chin. But at the same time, like, I just think fundamentally the takedown defense is just not going to be there for him. And this is the second fight where I'm saying that, like, or, 2 out of 3 fights, because I said that about Reyes too. I just think it's too much of a difference maker here. And Magomedov's good on his feet too. I want to say that, the defense is bad, but there are aspects of his striking that are good as well. But I just don't think, I don't think he's going to spend much time there. I think he's not going to tempt his fate against a guy who's a pretty damn good boxer in Brian Zurcher. So, I think we see takedown after takedown. I think we see good submission attempts. Zurcher is tough as hell. I will say, if this were me doing my best Yanni and talking about props and distances, and he actually has, I know we rag on Yanni all the time on this show and stuff like that, but like he actually has been pretty good on his over and unders. I think going into last night, he was 12-3. On the over-unders. I remember missed at least 1 or 2 last night. So that number's gotten a little worse, but if I would not be surprised if his call here is that this one goes the distance, because Magomedov grinder and Zurcher is a guy who's like a fun boxer. So for me, this is a fight that seems like Zurcher, being as tough as he is just going to survive and probably lose a decision here.
Okie dokie. Yeah. Who was someone used to, wasn't it Eric that in the Discord that used to, keep stats for us?
Yeah, we used to have Yanni's stats on his over. Somebody used to split them too. It was like on the over unders, it was on the money line, it was like on props and stuff like that. They had it all. He seems to be, and again, we like to rag on people. He does seem to be doing quite a bit better this year. So I want to give him his credit where credit's due.
Well, I'm glad we aren't tracking it then. We don't know definitively because that would cause serious concerns.
I do remember he liked the Cam Teague money line against Larian Douglas.
Yeah, so I saw that right after he got his face knocked off. Yeah,
that's not his.
All right, no, we're going to female flyweights next. Sofia Montenegro. She's from Argentina. I don't think she's fought in her favorite promotion though in Argentina.
She has. Yeah, she fought for.
Oh, she has. Okay, good.
Samurai Fight has 3.
Oh, there you go. SFH 3. Jeisla Chaves. How do you say her first name? Gumby. Jeisla.
Yeah,
it's probably Isla.
Jeisla.
Chaves. Say it Italian.
Jeisla.
We're talking about Chaves first. A Braba is the nickname. The Angry, that translates to.
Okay.
And she's fighting the Witch. The Angry is 5-0 with 3 knockouts. TKO win in her last bout. Regional champion. Used to fight at 135 and 145. 1-0 in pro Muay Thai. A champion there in the one belt she had. She's in Chala and Montenegro. Montenegro is La Bruya, which is the Witch. 6-1, 3 knockouts, 1 submission. She's been knocked out once. She's won 3 straight. His last lost to fight September 2022. 1-0 Muay Thai as well, but she didn't win a belt. 2 years younger than Chavez.
So I think Montenegro, obviously the favorite here. Like, it's almost damn near impossible to find film on Chaves unless you have CD corners of the internet, as I do, and are able to find stuff. And usually that lends itself to, the other person being the favorite. I'm gonna go Chaves though. I'm gonna guess we're gonna get her in the 200s, maybe 225, 230 kind of range here for Chaves. And I like her because I did find some footage on her. She's really fast on the feet, and I've seen some of her control on the grappling side of things, and like it's all right. I haven't really seen a ton of her wrestling. Obviously, the level of competition worries me a little bit. She's fought like the worst. I think was it her record I saw where she's fought 0 people who have a win. I think it might have been her that fought 0 people who have a win, and that's like kind of alarming, right? Like that's like a problem. And it's definitely why the tapologists will be on the other side of her, and I think the sports books will be too. But like if you watch her, she's really fast with the hands. She really does a lot of damage, and like I watched Sofia Montenegro's fights, and like my big issue with her is she kind of reminds me in some ways of what we hated about Insu Huang last week. It's just like it's a lot of forward pressure and not a lot of confidence in what she's throwing. And some of that is because if you go a couple of fights ago, she kind of swung wild and she won, but she came out kind of worse for the wear. And now she's like a little bit more cautious, being a little bit more technical and just kind of not letting go. And Chaves, on the other hand, she comes from a Muay Thai background. She whips those kicks out there. She's definitely much, much more aggressive. And, I said it in the other fights. Like, I'm worried about this one's takedowns. I'm worried about this one's takedowns. I've seen Montenegro's takedowns. I don't think it's worth worrying about. Like, she got in on a leg and was working for like a leg lace trip. And the other fighter just kind of like limp legged out of it. And ultimately she like followed it up with more attempts and got the takedown. But it was like, it just kind of had the feeling of like, I'm doing this on the regional scene. And as soon as I step up, like this won't work anymore. And so, like, for that reason, like, I think she's slower on the feet. I think she's less aggressive on the feet, and I don't think she has the capacity to take it to the ground. So, of course, I like Jeisla Chaves here in this one. I think she's gonna piece her up on the feet.
Her 5 pro opponents, 0-8 combined record.
Yeah, she is the one I thought like that. Yeah. Like, she hasn't fought anybody. But like, I will say, like, I know everybody looks good against nobodies, but like, I've seen clips of her in Muay Thai. I've seen clips of her in MMA. Like, speed is a thing that you can just like see. You know what I mean? Even when you don't have to worry about something coming back. Like, speed is a factor. I think she's so much faster in this fight.
All right, we shall see. Before we get to the main event, let me tell you about Underdog Fantasy. It's a great place to play fantasy pick'em, where you can win up to 500 times your entry. Simply pick higher or lower on your favorite player stats. It's available for a ton of sports. I bet Gumby's going to give you a play right now.
Yeah, I'll give you a Thursday strikeout prop. I like Quinn Priestler strikeout prop on Thursday. Does Jeff know who Quinn Priestler is?
No, that's another made-up name.
He's 13-2 this year, by the way, and you don't know who he is, but he's 13-2.
Who's he play for?
He pitches for the Brewers, and he's getting the Angels here. And let me tell you something about the Angels. The Angels, much like my pick against the Yankees yesterday, the Angels love to strike out. And Quinn Priestler's, been hovering around 5 or 6 pretty much his last couple of starts. So let's go the higher than on the strikeouts for Quinn Priestler. All
right. Listen to this now. Underdog's got a brand new offer for new customers. Play just $5 and get $50 in bonus funds when you sign up with our code MMASGPN. And Rhythm, RITHMM. Rhythm is off to a great start in college football and the NFL. Rhythm has introduced a leaderboard with weekly cash prizes just for tracking your bets in the app. Track 5 bets of the same type from any model you build, and you can win up to $1,000. Gumby, do you have a play? Probably an NFL Week 3 play.
Oh, we're going to go NFL Week 3 play, especially because, my WNBA stuff in the playoffs, not that it's not reliable, but I have a little bit less faith in figuring out how the playoffs work here. Let's say we're going to go, look, I'm going to go to Washington. I'm going to take the Raiders getting points here against the Commanders. Jaden Daniels kind of a question mark right now. Even if he plays, I think that knee's going to be banged up. Raiders getting 3.5. I think they can keep it within a field goal. So give me the Raiders plus the points.
All right. Gummy's got your play and I got your code. Promo code SGPN25 when you download the Rhythm app. You get 25% off your first month. So download Rhythm, that's RITHMM. And use promo code SGPN25. See if Gumby knows what he's talking about or not. Rhythm will let you know. All right, main event.
I'm the leading expert on SGPN right now, just not for anything.
You are right now. It's true. You're ahead of the pack, so we'll see. It's 2 weeks in. Main event is an all-Brazilian affair. Rafael Tobias versus Jair de Oliveira. And they're fighting at 205, 3 5-minute rounds. De Oliveira is Mammoth, which is Mammoth. 6-0, 4 knockouts, 1 submission, 5 straight wins via finish. Multiple regional championships on his
mantle.
Correct. Get a shirt, get a merch, sportsgamblingpockets.com/store. Try football at checkout for a discount. He's not fought since May 2024, 2015 Pro MMA debut. Used to fight at heavyweight, 7 years younger than Tobias. Tobias, bipolar. He's bipolar, Gumby. I'm not saying he's bipolar. That's his nickname, bipolar. 13-1, 5 knockouts, 5 submissions. He's been knocked out once. He's won 5 straight, 2 straight via TKO. He's not lost since July 2023. He went 0-1 in LFA. His only career loss. Has fought at middleweight and heavyweight. He's 5 inches taller than De Oliveira.
5 inches taller, and if I'm not mistaken, he's only 6'2".
Yep, Oliveira is a little guy.
Yeah,
a little big guy.
Which is funny because his nickname is Mammoth, which is Mammoth.
Yes,
and
Mammoth. He's 5'9", and
which, by the way, if you're trying to find film on him or stuff like that, he usually goes by Jair Mammoth instead of Jair de Oliveira. So you can find some of his Muay Thai fights and stuff like that because he's a Muay Thai guy. There
is he a bowling ball, Gumby?
No, he's all right. So here's what I'm gonna say. So first of all, I want to get this out of the way. I'm taking Jair de Oliveira, and I think he's gonna be a 5-1 underdog. Like he's fought nobody.
He looks pretty strong. He's not a bowling ball.
I think so. Here's the thing about all of the fight film I've seen on him. He's got a real Mark Hunt quality about him.
Yeah.
When he's fighting. Like he's heavy on his feet, but then you're like, oh, it's coming though. Like he's gonna hit you hard. And like the leg kicks are devastating. Like I watched this one fight where he just lit this dude's legs up. I think he only kicked him 6 times, and the dude dropped and wouldn't get back up. And he fouled him to the ground and wound up getting the finish there. So like, Jair de Oliveira, very, very dangerous kicker, very, very hard puncher. And now obviously the 5 inches of height. The fact that he hasn't really fought anybody you've heard of, he's fought in the minor leagues. Nobody really saw this guy coming to Contender Series. That's why I think he's going to be a 5-1 underdog. Tobias, on the other hand, is like chiseled 6'2", looks exactly like the guy that Dana White wants to sign. But I was watching the fights, and first of all, on the feet, it should be one-sided. Mammoth is so much better in striking than Tobias. He's quicker. He's faster. Yes, I do worry about the reach, but I think he can just light up the legs. And if he does get inside, man, can he crack? And then on the other side, like Tobias, most of his fights have gone, he's kind of, pitter-pattering back and forth on the feet. And he gets this like body lock takedown where he like almost has like tackled all of his opponents, which first of all, like at a higher level, that's not going to work. Like if he gets to UFC, you're never going to like, shoulder tackle somebody to the ground, unless you're Brock Lesnar. Who did Brock Lesnar do that to? The guy with the big bold tattoo. You don't remember who I'm talking about though.
Heath. What's his name?
Heath Herring.
Thank you. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
We crowdsourced that one.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, like so I think he's gonna get lit up on the feet, and then on top of that too, I don't know that takedown will work even against Oliveira. Because while Oliveira maybe doesn't look like he's the most polished or doesn't look like he's maybe fought all that difficult a competition, he does have, like, while being a Muay Thai guy, he has competed in a bunch of judo tournaments. Like, I was looking for film on him fighting Muay Thai or fighting MMA, which was, like, kind of hard to find. And I accidentally found some of him in a judo tournament where he looked, like, pretty damn good at judo. And then, like, in retrospect, you go back and you watch some of his MMA fights, and you're like, oh, that makes sense now. Because in that fight I was talking about where he kicked that guy's legs out, he followed him to the ground. I was like, don't do that. Just make him stand up and kick his leg again. But then he followed him to the ground and went right to a side control. And he used like some mixture of side control and scarf hold, which are like classic and traditional judo positions. And then he got the far side Americana, which is also like very judo heavy. So like, I was like, oh, like this guy might actually have some judo. And if he does, coming with a weird body lock takedown on a guy who's only 5'9", not going to work for me. You know what I mean? Like that's not a good path to victory on a guy with a judo, maybe not background, but a judo, some judo credentials in there. So I think Oliveira is going to stuff the takedowns of Tobias. I think he is going to be much more explosive on the feet. And more importantly, I think he is going to be a massive underdog. So give me Mammoth here. He is maybe the pick I'm most excited about this week.
All right. Recap. He's got De Oliveira, aka Mammoth. He has got Chaves. So he's finishing up with a couple big dogs, hopefully. Then Magomedov, Barbir, and Reyes. And you are set for week 7 of Contender Series. You get more of us in the Discord, sportsgamblingpockets.com/Discord, or in the comments on YouTube, MMA Gambling Podcast. On Twitter, SGPN MMA. He's at Gumby Vreeland. I'm at Jeff Fox Writer. At Jeff Fox Writer on Instagram. moneymma.substack.com is my MMA Substack. Gumby has a podcast called Top Turtle. Tell the people who is on Top Turtle.
Yeah, we talked with Adam Livingston before his loss on Contender Series this past week. And then also, if you want a fresh interview, we have an interview with Tamerlan Dulatov, who is fighting this weekend.
So check it out, Top Turtle. And we're at sportsgamblingpodcast.com, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/store. Try football at checkout for a discount. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Patreon. We'll be back for 6 episodes starting on Sunday after Gumby bids you farewell.
All right, I'm Đani Gumby Vreeland. He's the angry Jeff Fox, and we will see you on Sunday.